Hi guys, this is Amit Tawar from Networkasam technical team, and today's topic is OSI model. So OSI stands for Open System Interconnection, and let's start with OSI. So guys, we are going to be start one OSI model video series, and this series is divided into 10 parts. So part one covers OSI model review. So in the first part, we will discuss about OSI, how many layers are there, what are the roles of the each and every layer. So we'll discuss about that one. So part two is about data flow. So data flow means let's consider if there will be two PCs and if there's a one PC and that PC is communicating with any of the HTTPS based server. So how the communication will happen between those that client and the server, and we'll discuss about the data flow through the OSI on the client side as well, and then on the server side as well. So that is all about data flow. Part three is about lab of OSI. So that same concept between client and server, once the communication will happen for the HTTPS service or maybe for HTTP. So that time we will capture their packets there. So that is all about packet captures. And then we will discuss about OSI at packet level. Part four is about TCP IP stack model versus OSI model. So TCP IP stack model, and we will compare with OSI. So that is a comparison between both the models. Then part five cover TCP protocol part A. The further guys, what we have done, we have divided TCP protocol so into 4 to 5 parts. As you know, TCP is a very vast protocol. A lot of things are there. So we have divided TCP into 5 parts there. So that part A, B, C, D, and E here. So in the part five, fifth and sixth, seventh and eighth and ninth in OSI series, we'll discuss about TCP protocol. And part 10 is about TCP versus UDP protocol. So guys, these are the video series which we will upload on the video soon. So one by one. So today this is the part one, and let's start. That is OSI model review. So now what are the agendas for today? So today's agendas are guys, OSI model history. So first we'll discuss about OSI model history, when it came and when it started and how this idea came. Then OSI model review, we will review the OSI model, how many layers are there in the OSI model and what are the roles of each and every layers, that we will discuss in the section. Then about encapsulation, de-encapsulation, and then data formats. So let's start, guys. So the first is OSI model history. So what does it mean? So OSI means open system interconnection, and there is a guys international standard organization like that is ISO. So which they established one committee in 1977 to develop an architecture for the computer communication. Before 1977, there was a lot of issues. The companies, they were facing a lot of issues that time between for the communication of the computers. So after that, in 1977, ISO they established one committee and they asked them to develop one architectures for the computer communication, and that was like kind of or standard. They were just trying to build one standard for the computer organization, computer communications there for all the vendors. So then that committee, they established a committee, and then what was the result of their efforts? The result for their efforts was open system interconnection. So then they came with the one reference model, and that known as a OSI model, guys. So this is one of the architecture, standard architecture for the computer communications there. Then in 1944, 84, OSI reference model was approved, and almost it took 6 to 7 years for them for the OSI model to develop the OSI model, and finally it got approved in 1984 as a international standard for the communication architectures between any computer devices. That's for the communications between any computer devices there. So this is all about OSI model. So this is kind of one standard architectures which help or which, or like mostly all the vendors like HP and about Dell, who's the like the PC vendors case, they use OSI model to for the communication between the devices. So this is all about history. So in 1984, so ISO has approved OSI model as a international standard for computer communication there. So OSI model review. So OSI model layer has been divided into 7 layers. So these are the 7 layers here. So L1, this is L1 layer. This its name is physical layer here. Then L2, all about the data link. L3, about network. L4, transport layer. L5, session layer. L6, presentation. L7, all about application layers. So L1 to L4 divided into the lower layers as well, because OSI model is divided into two parts, lower layer and then upper layer. The lower layer is also known as hardware-based layers, and the upper layers are also known as software-based layers there. Because L6 or layer 7, 6, and 5th always works on software. So that these 3 layers is also known as software-based layers. And L1, 2, 3, and 4 also known as hardware-based layers. Okay, so let's start. So first layer. The first layer is, so actually the first layer is about L1, that is about physical layer. But in this video, we'll discuss about OSI from L7 here. So the first layer is about application layer. What's the reason? Because let's consider this is one PC and this is one server. And you just want to download anything from the server, or maybe we need a communication between this client and the server. So once you will send any request, any HTTPS request, let's consider you're using application HTTPS. So if you're using this application, okay, or this protocol to start the communication with servers, so it's always start from L7 first here. So L7 to L6, then 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, and then 1, then 1 here. So this is the reason I'm going to be started from application. So what does it mean? Application. What is actually application layer is? So application layer is, guys, it's in a kind of, you can say, abstraction layer. That abstraction layer that specifies the shared communication protocols and interface methods used by host in a communications over here. Okay, let's consider this is one of the server and this is the one of the PC. This is one of this server we're hosting here HTTP service. So now you have to communicate with the server, but the question is which protocol will you use it over, or which application you're going to be use it. So then we need kind of interface, which, and with that help, with the help of that interface, so you can communicate with the server. So we use here different protocols like HTTP, HTTPS, Telnet, FTP. So these kind of protocol we use to communicate with the servers, and these protocols are the part of the application layer here. So application layer, as you can say, it's kind of UI, user interface, you can say, which with the help of that UI, we will interact with the application. So let's consider this is my PC, and we have obviously desktop over. This is my desktop. I'm using Windows 10 here. So this is my desktop. And on that top of that, I'm using different applications. Like I'm using Google Chrome. I'm using Firefox. I'm using PuTTY to connect with the destination servers, and then I'm using FTP. I'm using different protocols over here. So this is what this is kind of your application layer here. So you can see the definition as well. It provides the network service to application process such as electronic mail is about emails, then file transfer. We use different protocol for that. FTP, file transfer protocol, is one of them. Then FTP is also there, secure file transfer protocol. So there are the different protocols which we use to transfer the files. And then terminal emulation here. So there are a lot of different protocols over here. that provide user authentication also. If you have to authenticate the user, then without GUI or without application layer, you can't or user can't authenticate himself with the servers. So without application, you can't authenticate yourself. So you can say application layers provide user authentication also. Next set, it give the end user application access to the network resources. So same thing, what I have mentioned. And what are the protocols we use for application layer? On application layer, that HTTP, HTTPS, FTP. So these are the layers. These are the protocols which we use at application layer here. So this is all about application layer. In short, this is kind of interface between client and server. Let's move to the next application, next layer. Next layer is all about presentation layer. So what is presentation layer? So presentation layer, it will ensure that the data is readable by the receiving system. The data is readable by the receiving system. So let's consider this is one PC. This is one server, and there is a communication. So it's connected like this way. So if you have to, let's consider, you want to access this particular server here. So I'm going to use protocol here, HTTPS, which is all about what? This is all about your HTTPS. This is all about application layer. But after that, what kind of data you need? What you want to, maybe you're just transferring the data from this client to this server, or maybe you're downloading any kind of data from server to the clients over here. So that data should be in the readable format on the both the sides. So who will take care of that thing? Only presentation layer. Means, for example, this is one PC, this is one server, and from server you have to download any file. Just consider you just downloaded one picture from there, or maybe this is one pic you have downloaded, or maybe you have downloaded one movie from there. Okay, and let's consider you have downloaded this movie on this one, but you don't have any video player. Let's consider you don't, we need one video player for that. Maybe Amex player, maybe you're using VLC over there, or maybe any Windows player you're using. Let's consider out of these players, you don't have any kind of application on your PC. So obviously, whatever the movie you have downloaded or songs you have downloaded, that is in MP4 format or whatever the formats there, that is, you won't be able to play on your system there. Whatever the pictures you have downloaded from here, let's consider this picture, this is in the JPG format over here. And then once you will download it, you have another format. So this compatibility between the server and between the clients here. So presentation layer will help us and it will ensure that data will be readable by the receiving system here. It will take care about format of your data, structure of your data, and it will negotiate data transfer syntax for the application layers here. So means presentation layer will present the receive, it will present or it will represent the received data as per your format here. Let's consider as I'm A, this is my system A, and this is system B. I have one video, and this video, and I'm using here Amex player. Okay, this guy is using VLC player. This guy doesn't have Amex, and I doesn't, and in this I don't have any kind of VLC. So this is the video. So on your PC, you can run or you can play this video with the help of Amex player, and on the another side, this guy also play the same video with VLC player here. So that is all about what? This is all because of presentation layer. The structure will be different. The same video which you're using on your PC, you can play that same video on your mobile phone as well. You can play on your desktop as well. Sorry, you can on the iPad as well. You can play the same video on your smart TV as well. So that is what? That is same video you can play on the different devices, and presentation layer will present or represent the same data as per that particular device there. So this is all about structure and then format of the data. So presentation layer will take care about all this thing. So during the data communication, during the communication between the client and the server or between the two PCs. So presentation layer will take care about at your encryption as well. It will take care about encryption as well. So what encryption does mean? What is the meaning of encryption here? What does it mean? So see, a presentation layer will help us in encryption and decryption also. What does it mean? So see, let's consider between the client and the between server, we just want to exchange any kind of data. We want to exchange any kind of data. So if you want to exchange any data, so that data, if you don't want to share in the clear text, means what is a clear text? Clear text means, let's consider this is one of my credit card information, and this credit card information means, so let's consider, so 1 second now. So this is some, I have some credit card information. The credit card information, let's consider this is card number. So this is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then its CVV number. It's about 563 here, and its PIN code is about 5698. So this is all about credit card information, and this information is the what? This is in the clear text here. This information in the which format? This is in the clear text. So this clear text information is, guys, this is not secure, because when you will exchange your data over the internet, so in the clear text format, guys, that is not the secure concept. So we need security for that. So for that thing, we have to create a, or we have to change this clear text into the ciphertext. So as per the ciphertext, so what will be here? The card number. Now the card number will be changed. So this will be in the encrypted format. So this is, guys, kind of like your, this is ciphertext. You can say this is encrypted data here. This is what? Encrypted data. And which protocol we will use? We will use here AES. We can use here dash or 3 dash also. So these are the algorithm which we use to encrypt the data from clear text to the ciphertext here. So this is encrypted data, now not able to read it. So this is what? This is in the readable format. So this data is what? Readable format here, but this is not. Okay, this is not. The reason is because this is encrypted data. So now this is what? This is secure. So presentation layer will help us to encrypt the data here. So it will provide encryption, and on the another end, so this is from the client side. So then on the receiver side, this is from the sender side. So on the receiver side, then presentation layer will help to decrypt the data. So this is, it's possible all because of the presentation layer. So next is session layer. What does it mean? Session layer plays a very important role. Means, so let's consider I'm using this is my laptop, and this laptop, this is my Google Chrome. This, for example, this is my Google, this is my browser, and it's all about Google Chrome here. So in the Google Chrome right now, I have opened so many different tabs. Tab A, then tab B, then tab C over here, then tab D. So I'm using different tabs over here. And in the different tabs, I'm using different sites. Let's consider, and this one I'm using here WhatsApp. This is consider, I'm using here WhatsApp application. So this is all about, I'm using here WhatsApp. Next is I'm using here LinkedIn. So this is, next is I'm using Facebook, and next is I'm using here Networkers home site here, and then next is all about Cisco site here, Cisco.com. So the thing is, as a user, because as a user you are using the different sites at the same time. So let's consider you're sending one message to your friend from WhatsApp. So obviously, if you're sending any message, hi, how are you? Or are you there and all? So if you're sending any message to your friend from WhatsApp, so obviously, guys, we are expecting the reply on the WhatsApp itself here. Okay, obviously, it's not possible you're sending the hi from WhatsApp and then you're waiting for the reply on the LinkedIn, or you will receive its reply. This is about request, this is hi, and after that, you will receive its reply on the Facebook. That is not possible. You are just looking for any training information from Networkers Home. So obviously for that information, you have to go to the Networkers Home site. At the same time, let's consider you have opened one more site of any another training company. Let's consider this as INE. So you are looking for now. If you are looking for Networkers Home information, and if you need any information from Networkers Home site, so that is obviously possible on the Networkers Home site itself, not on INE. And INE information will be possible only you will get it on INE portal here, not on Networkers Home. And if you will try to contact Networkers Home sales team, so that reply you will receive on your Networkers Home site, obviously not on this one. So obviously, as a user, one question will be then in my mind. I have opened so many tabs at the same time, and I'm right now I'm chatting with one of my friend at on WhatsApp, then on with my link with one of another friend on the LinkedIn, then with one friend on the Facebook. So why these messages are not getting collapsed, and why it's not happening? I'm sending hi to on the WhatsApp and I'll get the reply on the LinkedIn. So this is all because of session layer here, because session layer will keep your sessions separate over here, even within WhatsApp itself. If I'm talking about within WhatsApp, so within WhatsApp, guys, maybe you're chatting, you're doing the chat with your more than one friends there. So why their chats are not getting exchange? So what's the reason for that? How that chat, all those chats are like now in the separate concept, how in the separate windows. So that is all because of session layers here. So session layer will help us to keep these sessions separately. It will establish the sessions. You can see here, enter host communication. So it will establish the session, it will manage the session, and it will terminate the session between the applications. So session layer will help us. One more example of the session layer. Let's consider it's happened with us, and let's consider you are doing you're doing online banking here. Okay, this is one of the ICICI bank here. Okay, and you just logged in because you have to transfer some money like online. So once you will log in into ICICI online banking, what happened? Let's consider now you have transferred the funds, and after that you forget to log out from that site here. So what happened? After maybe just for example, after 30 seconds or maybe after those 60 seconds, if your session will be idle, means there will be no movement on that site, so automatically you will be log out from there. Then automatically you will be log out from there. So what is that concept? That is all about the session, means session expired automatically, because these are the very secure sites. It's very crucial information on the bankings there. So ICICI Bank has already set all these things at their session layer. Okay, if any user will be idle for the 60 seconds, okay, so that will be the session will be expired automatically from there. Okay, so this kind of session. Let's consider Facebook. Even I don't know, even I don't remember last time when I have logged in into my Facebook account here, but daily and in my LinkedIn account, because daily I'm using it. So the session is not getting expired. So that is also how it's happening. That is all because of session layer here. So without session layer, we can't expect that kind of stuff here. So this is the session layer, which will establish, which will manage, and which will terminate the session between the application. It's allow application to maintain ongoing session also. So this is all about session layer, which will maintain, terminate, and establish your sessions. So first of all, application layer, it's all about network process to applications like HTTP, HTTPS or Telnet, whatever you're using, or maybe FTP. Then it will present the data as per the format of your device, and then it will keep the session. It will first establish the session, then it will manage it, and then it will terminate it. So this is all about upper layer. So the working of these three layers, guys, this is all about software based. As a network engineers, we don't have to worry about these three layers because this is all about software based here. And these three layers is also known as upper layer. As per network engineers, we have to worry about these four layers. So now let's discuss about the lower layer. So the next layer is transport. So what is the transport layer? So as per name, we can say transport. So transport means, what is the meaning of transportation? So it will carry your data from one device to another device. So this layer play a very important role. So on this layer, let's discuss about this. So this is kind of end-to-end connection between devices to devices. It handles transportation issues between the host. It will ensure transport reliability. It establish and maintain and terminate the virtual circuits. It provides reliability through fault detection and recovery information flow control. So what does it mean, guys? So as per name, you can see transport. So it will handle transportation issues. So let's consider we have two devices, uh, or we have server and clients, and we have to transfer the data, maybe from client to server, or maybe server to client, any of these cases. So we need some transportation protocols over there. So on transport layer, mostly and most commonly, we use two protocol for the transportation. One is TCP and second is UDP. TCP and UDP. So this is all about end-to-end connection. TCP protocol is all about your most reliable protocol as compared to UDP. And if you will use TCP protocol, so obviously you guaranteed delivery will be there, kind of acknowledgement will be there. So that means we can say between TCP and UDP, TCP is more reliable protocol as per transportation concept there. But yes, TCP is little bit slow as compared to UDP. If you don't need any kind of acknowledgement of data receiving on the another side, on the destination side, so then you can use UDP over here. UDP is more faster as compared to TCP. So TCP protocol number 7 and UDP protocol number, sorry, this is 6 and UDP protocol number 17 here. So TCP and UDP is kind of, guys, you can say, what is it? So you can say this as kind of container, two different containers here. Okay, just for example, this is TCP and this is all about UDP here, which contains different services into that, like Telnet, SSH, HTTP, HTTPS. So this is all about their services. So TCP protocol number 6 and UDP protocol number 17. Telnet port number 23, SSH 22, HTTP 80, HTTPS about 443 here. Same UDP is all about DNS, port number 53, then about DHCP, port number about 67 and 68. So different kind of what? Services. So these are the kind of containers. Okay. So for example, transportation system. I have to travel Bangalore to Delhi or Delhi to Bangalore. So I have options. I can go via air or I can go via train here. So then I have different options into that. I can go via Air India. I can go here via different one. Let's consider Go Air. Okay, so different airlines. So I have different options over. I can go with Indigo. So different systems. So then train, so there's a different A, B, and C trains out there. So that is what kind of transportation system over here. Okay, so this is all about what? This is all about end-to-end connection here. So this is all about transport layers. So TCP and UDP, these are the two main protocols which we use for the transportation over here. Next is network layer. So network layer is all about data delivery. So my name is Amit Tawar, okay? And Amit Tawar is what? Amit Tawar is my identity. So now, and I have to transfer, let's consider, and right now I'm in Bangalore, and I have to send one parcel in Delhi. So first of all, if you have to send any parcel to the Delhi, so obviously we need addresses over there. We need what? Address. Without address, you can't send any kind of parcels there. So same in networking. We need, and in address, what we need? One, we need name of the receiver, and then we need its address there, the permanent address we need. So same here. Now in networking, there is two kind of addresses. One is IP addresses, which is all about logical addresses, and second is MAC addresses, which is all about permanent addresses. So network layer, it's all about data delivery, and it's route data packets, select the best part to deliver the data, provide logical addressing, means it's all about IP addresses over here. Okay, and then path selection here. So mostly on network layers case, at network layer, we use two kind of protocols. One is routed protocol, and second is routing protocol. Then routing protocols. Routed protocols, there we have two options. One, we have IPv4. There are two options for that. One is IPv4 and second is IPv6. And second, in the routing protocols, there are options like RIP, like OSPF, and then OSPF, and then EIGRP. So these are the routing protocol and these are the routed protocols. So routed protocols means this is kind of addresses. This and what kind of addresses? This is kind of logical one. And routed means, say if you have to transfer any data between any two devices, so first of all, we need addresses over here. So that address is, let's consider here, I'm using 10.1 and I'm using here 15.1 here. So between these two devices, so this is what kind of your addresses here. So IPv4 is all about 32 bits and IPv6 is all about 128. This is the size of their addresses. So without these routed protocols or without this IPv4 and IPv6, obviously we can't assign any IP. And once you will assign the IP, that's fine. So this is what you have assigned the IP, that's fine. But after that, now I'm in Bangalore. My name is Amit. Okay. One of my friend, his name is Nathan, and let's consider he's in Delhi. Okay. I have to send some data. That's fine. Amit is fine and Nitin is fine. Amit and Nitin is what? This is kind of identity here. So same 10.1 and 50.1 is what? That is kind of identity. So if we have to transfer the data, after that we need transport system into that. And this transport system will use transportation protocol, that is TCP and UDP here. So the transport system is all about router in between that. Because router is in a device which will deals with different networks, not the switches. So router, which will deals with the different networks here. So on this side, we have one network 10. This is one network, we have 15 or 20, and in between so many networks out there. So now you have to transfer your data to the next router, and the next router will find out the best path, and after that it will decide it. Maybe from this router, there is a more than one paths out there. Okay, so for example, this is here. We have one source, we have destination router, and these are the different paths over here. Source, this is source. Now, this is all about source here, and this is all about destination. This is router 1, path A. This is, you can say, this is path A here, path B, and then path C here. So first of all, we need routed protocols. Routed protocols means IP addresses. Consider here 11.1, next is 15.1, and it's about 20.1 here. So then this is about 60.1 here. This is a destination. So same on these routers also, different IPs and IP addresses assigned. IP address has been assigned 15.2, and it's about then 20.2 here. So different routers, and then there is a different IP. This is one network over here, then one network over here. So let's consider this is the source. We are using routed protocol IPv4 here. Which routed protocol I'm using? We are using here routed protocol. Which routed protocol we are using? I'm using here IPv4 here. IPv4 you're using, that's fine. But which routing protocol are you using? So maybe just for example, maybe we are using here EIGRP. We are using here OSPF, and maybe we are using REP here. So these are the different routing protocols we are using for the different paths. So this router, now here we have to mention the destination IP is by 60.1. So then this router will decide how many paths do we have? We have 3 paths. So now this router will decide which path is the best path here out of these 3. So then this router will compare the properties, their metric values, and their about AD values kind of stuff of these protocols. And after that, router will find out which is the best path over here. So let's consider somehow this router just got to know this EIGRP, this is the best path here. Just for example, after that, further data will reach to this router. And just for example, consider from this router again, we have 2 paths, path A and path B. So again, router will decide it which path is the best path behalf of routing protocols. And then let's consider it will choose this is the best path. So this is the now first this router to this router, then this router, and this router, and finally reach to the destination. So first of all, we need routed protocols, and after that we need router needs routing protocol to decide whether which path is the best path or not here. So all this kind of operation and process will happen where that will happen at the network layer. So router is the device which we use at network layers. So you can see routes the data packet. It will route the packet, means it will it will check the destination IP, and then it will forward the packet to the next device or the next destination, select the best path to deliver the data. That depends on the routing protocol, which routing protocol are you using, and provide the logical addressing and then path selection here. So you can see here, it provides the network-wide addressing and a mechanism to move the packet between the node networks here. So when your packets or data will move between the networks, that concept is known as routing over here. That concept is known as routing over here. So this is the brief idea about the network protocols, network layer. Let's move to the next protocol, data link. So data link. So data link is all about its access to the media. It defines how data is formatted for the transmission and how access to the network is controlled and provide error detection. So this is kind of MAC addresses now. It will use what? This is, for example, just to make you understand, I'm using this term here. Network layer is kind of, you can say WAN, and this is kind of your LAN, just to make you understand. This just make you understand the difference between network and the data link layer. So this is kind of WAN, and this is kind of LAN here. So at data link layer, we use MAC addresses. The MAC address is all about fixed addresses and then permanent addresses here. So network layer is all about logical addresses, the temporary addresses, and data link is provides all about the permanent addresses here. So on data link layer, guys, we use the devices like switch always we use on the data link layers here. So the data link layer is further divided into two parts. There's a two sub layers. One is MAC layer and then LLC layer. So MAC layer is about media access control, give the data to the NIC, network interface card, and control the access to the media through CSDM CD and then about token passing here. So it will remove the kind of loops over here. And then LLC, logical link layer. So it will manage the data link interface, okay, and it can detect some transmission error using a cyclic redundancy check CRC. If the packet is bad, then LLC will request the sender to resend the particular packet here. So data link layer is further divided into two sub layers, that is MAC and then LLC layer over here. The last but the first layer is physical layer. So physical layer is all about binary transmission. So this is all about the physical connections. So if two devices, let's consider these are the two devices connected here. So this is about what? When it's connected. Now this is connected here, two devices. So this layer is, this one is known as about physical layer. And here the data will be transferred in the modes of, in the so bits, the binary number here. So this is all about physical. So I can say I can touch the physical layers, but the data, network, transport, session, presentation, application, all are the what? Just kind of, we can say, imagination and kind of virtual layers there. But the physical layers we can touch. So define the electrical, mechanical, procedural, and functional specification for activating, maintaining, and deactivating the physical links. So it's all about physical layer. Physical connection is all about physical. When the data will be transferred, so that is all about physical layer. So determine the specification for all the physical components like cabling. With cabling, what cables are you using? Are you using their fast Ethernet, Giga Ethernet, and fiber optics? What kind of cables are you using? So it's about that one. Interconnect method, what is all about topology devices? It's about topology. So are you using bus topology, ring topology? What kind of topology are you using? So it depends on that. What kind of devices are you using? Are you using routers, switches? So it's all about that. Data encoding, bits to wave, electrical properties. And for example, Ethernet, IEEE 8.0.3 is example of the physical layer. Token ring is about 8.0.5 and wireless is about 8.2.11p here. So these days we use wireless concept as well. Let's consider this is one of the server and this is one of your PC and you have to connect yourself with this one. So there is a three options, two options. You can connect with a wired or you can connect with wireless signals there. Okay, so that is also the part of what? Physical layer here. So this is all about all the 7 layers. Now, next question is, how does it all works together? So you can see each layer contain a different protocol data unit. Means once your data, first of all, host A and host B. So we have to transfer the data between both the host. So always, if this is the sender and this is the receiver, so always it starts from application layer to physical layer. And after that, it will goes back on the another end. It will be physical to application. Means consider you have ordered one mobile phone from Amazon. Okay, so this is one of the vendor. This is Amazon here. Okay, and this is you. You are the receiver now. You have ordered or you have placed one order for mobile phone, and this is you. So first of all, this is your mobile phone. So what the Amazon will do? The Amazon will do the different kind of packing on that. This is the first layer of packing, then about second layer, then about the third layer, then about the fourth layer. So different what? Different packing, and after that, they will deliver the data to the another side. Okay, so when Amazon will perform this kind of packing, that concept is known as encapsulation here. That concept itself is known as encapsulation. And after that, it will transmit, or this parcel will be transmitted to the you, and who will take care, who will take this packet from Amazon to the you. Then there will be some delivery boys. There will be delivery boys that time here. So they will deliver the packet. So this is what, who is these guys? These guys are TCP and IP here. Now let's consider this is TCP and UDP. You are using the here transfer protocol. This is the delivery boy is not aware about what is exactly of your address, what is about address. Let's consider your address is sector 7. This is about sector 7 HSR Bangalore. Okay, so this is your address, but this guy is not aware about that. This is your address, and this is mentioned where? This is your packet, and this address is mentioned on top of your this one here. So now this is mentioned here. Okay, so now what this guy will do, this guy is aware about destination, this guy is having your packet as well. So this guy is known as now TCP and IP TCP and UDP protocols, not IP. This is about TCP and UDP protocol here. This is about TCP and UDP. So TCP and UDP is fine. Protocol we have. This is now we have addresses and everything we have. What is your name? Let's consider your name is, his name is Nitin Verma. Okay, so this is all about IP address. This is kind of what? This is kind of IP address here now. This is all about MAC addresses. So this is about L2 layer. And this is all about L3 layer. So this is TCP and UDP. It's all about L4 layer. It's about L4. After that, now this guy will use some bike and all. This guy is having one bike. So this bike will act as a what? Your L1 layer. That is about physical transfer. Now this guy is having one bike. So that bike will act as a what? That will act as a L1 layer. Okay. Then this guy will use Google Map to find your address. This is about what? Google Map here. So this Google Map will find out the best path, best and then shortest path. Shortest path here. Okay. So this is what? It's all about routing protocol. This concept is all about what? It's all about routing protocol. Protocol. This one. So now this delivery boy, this TCP protocol will find out what is the destination. Nitin Verma, address is this one. Then will use his bike, and then, or you can say L1 layer, and then use this routing protocol to find out the best path, and finally will deliver this data to the user here. So once you will receive this data, let's consider you got this data, and after that, guys, you have to do what? You have to open your packets. So then you will open this packet over here. So first of all, you will remove this one here. You will what? You will remove your first layer. This is known over here. Encapsulation. Then after that, this one, after that, this one. So one by one, you will remove all the layers of the packing over here, right? And finally, you will receive what? You will receive your data. You will receive your mobile phone. So when you will receive your mobile phone, this is what? This is all about your data encapsulation. So when you will remove or when you will unpack your parcel, that process is known as de-encapsulation. What? De-encapsulation. So same concept over here. How does it work? Each layer contains in a protocol data unit, PDU. On application layer, once this is sender and this is receiver, will send the traffic here. So now it will what? It's sending the traffic here. So this is at application layer. So an application presentation session, the same data will act as a data only. But once it will reach to the transport layer, that transport layer will treat this data as a segment. Network layer will treat it as a packets, data link will treat it as a frames, and physical layer will treat it as a bits here. So this is about protocol data unit here. So PDU are used for the peer-to-peer contact between the corresponding layers, there. Data is handled by the top three layers, then segmented by the transport layer here. About the segmentation, we will discuss in the upcoming videos. The network layer places it into the packets, and then data line frame the packet for the transmission. Physical layer convert to the bit and send it to over the media, and then receiving computer receive the process using the information contained in the PDUs. So how this is all about sender side, and this is all about receiving side. So this is all like how it all works here. And on different layers, we call the same data with a different name. Like on the first three layer about application, presentation, session is all about data. Then at transport, it's known as a segment, network as a packet, data link as a frame, and physical as about bits here. So what's the encapsulation? So you can see just now we have mentioned sender. This is the user data. Then first of all, L7 layer, L7 header. Let's consider here I'm using HTTPS protocol. So this is all about HTTPS header. Then L6 header, L5 header, then 4 header, 3 header, and 2 header. And finally, this is my data over here. This is data link. Then it will send it to the physical, and physical will convert this data into the bits. So this is encapsulation, adding the headers into the data. And then next is de-encapsulation. De-encapsulation is all about then further from bottom to up, from L1 to L7 layer, it will remove the header one by one. And then finally, first we'll remove L2, then L3, then L4, then L5, then 6, and then 7. And finally, receiver will receive its data here. So this is all about de-encapsulation process. So about the encapsulation and de-encapsulation process, we will discuss in the upcoming session in depth. So that is all about data flow here. So what is the data format here? So you can see all about data format, application data here. So this is all about message, which is on your application layer. And further now, this application data will comes on your transport layer. So this is about application, then presentation, and then session. And once it will reach to the transport layer, that data will be divided. If you want to send this huge data over here, so that data is not going to be sent in a single packet, that will be further divided into different packet, because what is your MTU size? That is 1500 bytes here. So data will be divided as per the MTU. So this is further, the data is divided into small chunks over small packets. So then transport layer will add its TCP header in front of each and every data. Then it will forward all the three segments into the network layer. The network layer will add its IP header. Then data link will add its Ethernet header here. So transport layer will divide this data into small segments. So that concept is about segmentation. And at transport layer, the data is also known as segments. So this is all about the data formats. So guys, this was the brief idea about OSI. And if you have to follow, so these are some standard documents for the OSI model. Like the OSI model was defined in ISO IEC 7498, which consists of the following parts. So these are the basic model consists about in 74981, then 2, 3, and then 4. So first one covers is about basic model. The second about security architecture. Third is naming and addressing, and fourth is management network. So you can follow, or there's these standard organization of OSI model. So this is, guys, the brief idea of OSI. So and this was the part 1. So after that, soon you will get the part 2. And in the part 2, we will discuss about the data flow. That is about encapsulation and de-encapsulation in depth. And that's it. So thank you guys for watching the videos.